Palani sir, live.
Yes, sir, it's in live mode now.
Good evening, all of you. Yeah, this is Professor Satish from REVA University, School of C and IT. We are one of the nodal center for Smart India Hackathon 2020. We are very happy to be associated with Smart India Hackathon 2020.
Yes, sir, it's in live mode now.
Yesterday, all of you have heard the Good evening, all of you. Modi ji's interaction. Yeah, this is Professor Satish from REVA University to have the leadership talk from some of the leaders across academia and industry. So, to start with, I got a quote saying, "We are finding it's not necessarily the reality that shapes us, but the lens through which your brain views the world that shapes your reality. And if we can change the lens, not only can we change your happiness, we can change every single educational and business outcome at the same time." Yeah. So let me introduce the first speaker of today, that is our Vice Chancellor of REVA University, Dr. K. Mallikarjuna Babu, Vice Chancellor, REVA University, Bangalore. He has risen from the grassroots levels to become an able administrator and visionary leader, a man known for his honesty and loyalty. He is committed towards development. As an engineer educator, he has more than 32 years of experience in different facets of education, teaching, research, and administration. Sir so far has published 81 technical papers and authored 8 books in engineering and education. To continue with, he has a wide international exposure. He had served as one of the board of directors, Melton Foundation, USA, and he is a member of Global Engineering Dean Council, USA. His international exposure encompasses his visits to several foreign universities in Australia, China, Chile, Germany, Kenya, Malaysia, Tanzania, South America, and USA, through which he acquired multifaceted approaches to planning, teaching, pedagogy, learning, research, and innovation. Sir is an expert member of the University Grants Commission, All India Council for Technical Education, National Board of Accreditation, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, and Vishwesvaraya Technological University and other universities. Sir is the recipient of Excellence Award by Indian Technology Congress for exceptional performance in developing BMS College of Engineering as an institution of eminence in research, industry collaboration, and academic excellence in the year 2018, and many other awards to his credit for various academic and administrative services rendered. Sir is a founder fellow of Indian Technology Congress Association, fellow of Indian Institute of Industrial Engineering, and life member of Indian Society of Technical Education, Institute of Engineers, and Operation Research Society of India. So thank you, sir. This is the biodata, brief biodata of Professor Mallikarjuna Babu, sir. Now I give the mic to sir. He is going to continue with his leadership talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Satish, and good evening to all. And it gives me indeed a great pleasure to be with you. And I have with me Mr. Dilip, CTO of GE Healthcare, and welcome to REVA University. So we have actually this is a very vast and a huge and large SIH virtual which is happening not only in India but is in all over world. It is stated to be one of the largest, which has a good number of participation, huge number of teams, right? So 234 participant teams and 39 at REVA. And and REVA University, you all be aware that it is one of the promising, upcoming and vibrant university, right, in the southern part of India, and particularly very known in Bangalore and worldwide as well. So I should say, and we have several engineering disciplines as well as arts and science, law, management, all these arts, liberal arts, everything. We have all the courses into the REVA University, and that makes it as a complete learning temple, right? Where temple of learning, what we should say. So where a student can experience and expose so many facets of educational opportunities. And these opportunities cutting across in a multidisciplinary mode, and a student interested in pursuing across these programs or schools is also permitted to do so. So having said that, here the Smart India Hackathon is predominantly on, you all know, it is honing the skills of the graduating students. So it is nothing but a great platform for the students and participants to solve the problems which are pressing problems, which I should say, faced by in a real-time problems. So from the industry and the government agencies, and we have a lot of great number of problems, and these things need to be solved during these hackathon. And you all know that, and I don't want to really talk about more on the hackathon and what we are actually intended to do. So typically there are several very relevant and apt themes such as smart communication, healthcare and biomedical devices, agricultural and rural development, and smart vehicles, food processing, robotics and drones, waste management, clean water and renewable energy, and security and surveillance. And friends, I would like to say that if you can really look into a couple of things, I would like to say before I talk anything. Probably all of you must have aware what is called as sustainable developmental goals and also the global challenges for engineering community. So these two are related, and once we talk about any research interest of a graduating student or a graduate per se or a professional engineer, so there is a lot to do in this particular area. And the world is dynamically changing, and as on now where we stand, you all know that the pandemic situation actually rewriting entire world scenario, how we are going to operate. So there are a lot of unknowns and at the same time a lot of uncertainty. So how do you face it? How do we really solve? So actually we have no clue out of this. So out of this we need to come out with the flying colors. So the challenging issue out of this is the economy, right? The worldwide economy, and we are also very much known, right? The issues concerned with this economy of the country. So, and it again, I would like to say one more thing is the first thing I just wanted to focus on the top skills that are required by the graduating engineers or the future employees. I call them as future workforce. So there is industry experts on this side by side. The employer expects certain skills to be known, and the academia we want to give you certain skills, right, in terms of learning side. And then industry wants something, and the entire dynamic real world, once you get in there, then the opportunities might call in a different tone and tenor. So you have to really strike a balance between all these various opportunities available. At the same time, groom yourself into a kind of engineer who is more acceptable by the industry. So yesterday, I think you would have heard definitely the Honorable Prime Minister. So he was talking about several facets, and he was also talking about NEP and so many things. It was if you just follow that, I think you can really make real strides in your life, in your career path, and your professional path. So the main mantra is today, so we talk about the paradigm shift in the transformation which has happened in engineering education from teacher-centric mode to student-centric mode. Having said that, so what we are talking about in a student-centric mode, how a student really perceives himself or herself, the role of educating themselves. So when we are talking about that, predominantly I would, there are several factors. I don't want to get into more and more in there. So which fascinates me is the self-learning opportunity and the flexibility built into the learning paradigm. These are the two things if you look into, your R&D gets into more and more rigor and vigor. And the curriculum, which is no doubt it is going to be, many of the places it is going to be more of relevant, and probably you all know you are more equipped into the knowledge part of this, knowledge part of it, and probably because of the going to the large, huge amount of information available on online. So the Google or Coursera, you talk about edX or any other courses, you fundamentally you get in lot of learning either side. You need not come into the classroom really to learn, but the thing is, wherein we at REVA, we are thinking into, we are rather practicing in other way. So we have introduced to what is called as integrated courses, and so how do we really enhance the skill sets of the students while on the go, while they are learning into the classrooms. So that way, the game changer would be one thing which is called as self-learning. So it is the in the student-centric learning paradigm, it is the responsibility of the student to learn. It is the responsibility. So the teacher and the institution rather into the mode of, into the facilitating mode rather than, right, those earlier days where we were studying, it was a completely teacher-centric. What they give, we have to learn. It is not so now. So having said that, one important thing which each one of us know is the self-learning. Self-learning is nothing but autonomous learning, or I may also say it as a self-directed learning. So a highly motivated student, or rather, if you are inclined to learn, so I would say that you have a limited period of time depending upon the course, which the program which you opt as a higher education. So it varies from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. So that depending upon the type of the program which you are going to choose, be it engineering, arts or science or law or any professional course per se. So when during this particular duration of the time where you are into the campus, whichever campus you are in, but it is make a point to see what is there to really learn on the campus. So a lot of facilities and how to use these facilities, a lot of research opportunities. So how do we really dig into those opportunities? We say that research is not for undergrad, but it is not true, friends. It is for all the students. Research is for the students, for the faculty, and faculty and students co-learn each other and also bring in a lot of knowledge creation. Research helps in that fashion. So the self-learning quotient of the students, which I would like to say that they should direct themselves which path they would like to go, and then decide upon which particular course, a particular project or particular activity which they would like to pursue in a bigger way. In other words, what we are also trying to focus is through the course and programs, and also we are also providing what is called as huge internship opportunities. And see, everywhere there is a challenge. So the challenge is not that much constrained or limited where the student is really wanted to push himself or herself and to learn. So there is no restriction as such. So that is what you guys need to know, and then move on to that kind of self-directed learning. So this self-directed learning really propels you to shape the direction in which you would like to move. So having said that, there a lot of research component comes in, and also every program certainly has a wide spectrum, and undergrad particularly if you say engineering, which I am talking about, or any other course. So even management, you have wide variety of verticals. So you can pick any vertical, any one of the vertical, and you can move that vertical deeper, and other domains or verticals, you can also pursue them. But the interested domain, you can always really go in a spearhead in such a manner where you become a solid professional. So there are ways in which we can guide you to become a professional while you are on the campus, while you are learning. So that 4 years of learning, 4 years of engineering, or whatever stipulated period, 3 years or 2 years, whatever stipulated period of other programs which you pursue your higher education, there is a huge scope of R&D. So look into that particular direction, and then this kind of attitude towards to learning in the domain of, and also applying what is called as research to strengthen your knowledge, definitely make you more confident. Once you are confident while you are learning, probably you will be in a better position into the real world, facing real world challenges. So, and there the extended component of this becomes, you become more of self-reliant. You are self-confident, and thus you become self-reliant, and that's what one of the very graduate program outcome which we like to see in among the students is that the lifelong learning ability or attitude. So for that, it is a kind of an activity which you need to start very early in your program of study. Then probably you have to catch on and pick the suitable vertical, and then start doing the research, and coupled with a lot of projects into it. So these projects really help you. One such projects, and I would also strongly suggest to you that you have to participate more and more competitions. So you have to participate. So succeeding there or not, I am not really bothered. But once you are making an attempt to try and solve certain issues, probably with the support of the your faculty or industry, or maybe your senior students, they would really guide you, and this way where you build your subject knowledge and you become more skillful by the applying those things, those knowledge which you have learned in the either whatever source of the information through the, and lot of facilitations through the institution. And what I am saying is, ultimately the success rate is going to be very huge if a student really has an attitude towards to learning. So I would say that really decide upfront, maybe in the second year, start working on that. So explore several possibilities. Now, such wise, I would like to say the leadership from the student mindset, I would say that enhancing or empowering yourself by acquiring the required skills by the industry. In the sense, there are top 10 skills in 2020 by the Industry 4.0 as per the World Economic Forum, which have been decided. So I would like to say, read them out for you, and probably these are the things which we at the university also make a point that push it towards the student community to enhance their skill sets and thus making them professionals so that industry ready the moment they step out the portals of the university, they would be ready to work. So in other words, we call it as industry ready. So first one which we are looking into is the complex problem solving. First skill, the industry. Even then, even the same thing is also there in our uh, graduate attributes or program outcomes. Complex problem solving. The first four program outcomes of professional courses talk about complex problem solving. That is, we are the same page on the what do you call the industry. And at the same second one is the critical thinking ability. So this is the one thing which every student need to embrace. And third one is the creativity. So doing something which is unique and different. And critical thinking is so comprehending. So how you move on. And the common thing which is there are certain soft core aspects also as far as the skills are concerned. The people management and coordinating with others. So this is what we inculcate with the student, I mean, among the student community through several project works, whether it is a mini or major project works during their program of study. At the same time, when they are in a team and working in a teams, and the team keeps on changing, so they draw the ability to work with others and also coordinate better fashion to really succeed in whatever the problem which they are facing. And also it also builds another acumen which is called as emotional intelligence, right? So here, whenever we are really talking to become a leader, actually, or a leadership ability, which I would say that you should have the clear ability to judge and also when to really take a decision. So there is no delaying a decision would also cause you several damaging factors. So let us not. So right time, right opportunity, you have to make a decision to really hold that opportunity, hold on to that opportunity. And you should have what is called as service orientation, and you should be a good negotiator, a tough negotiator when you are doing the various tasks. Not only technically, it is applicable to any other facets of life. So then again, the flexibility, which we are talking about, a cognitive flexibility among the graduates would really help. So we are also completely in sync with the top 10 skills that are described by Industry 4.0, and at the same time, our graduate attributes more or less the same tone and tenor it sings. That is a clear and positive indicator, right? So the curriculum design which moves in that direction makes you more and more skillful. But coming on to friends, I keep on telling most of the times it is the attitudinal part. So whenever we are talking about, there are 3 learning activities we create apart from the curriculum. So the knowledge, skill, and attitude. So these are the 3 we try to blend it in a very, very optimal fashion with several measurable outcomes. So it is as good as 200 plus measurable outcomes. All these things we really do it if the students really look at that side and they explore the possibilities. And I am pretty sure that you'll be able to do a wonderful job as a graduate. Now, how to face going ahead? So we don't know what is a future and a lot of uncertainty unknown. But at the same time, if you see an opportunity that side, so I always see an opportunity in that side as well. So look at that opportunity which you would like to hang on. So decide, talk to your facilitators or faculty or a lot of advisors. Probably that they may give you an indication. And most of the times we talk about the soft core jobs and hardcore jobs. So we'll have to blend them. Probably everyone has a job, right? But how do you take it? What way you get in there? Unless until you have the cognitive flexibility and learning flexibility, and you are free, and you have the knack of creative thinking or critical thinking, and at the same time the problem solving abilities definitely make you a distinct graduate from others. And at the same time, this is one such kind of activity which is called as Smart India Hackathon, which really takes out the ability of so many aspects which you are talking about, right? The top 10 skills of Industry 4.0 is a blended with this particular activity, so problem solving. So definitely it will enhance your knowledge horizon and also enhance your understanding towards the future, and hold, embrace uncertainty and move forward with requisite potential and skill. So with that, I wish you all the very best and good luck to you, and good luck for the hackathon competition as well. So thank you one and all.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Uh, so it was a wonderful motivational leadership talk, sir. We really thank you. Thanks for your talk. Thank you, sir. So moving on to the next leadership talk. So we have with us Dilip Mansuli, a CTO HTC India. So I'll be briefly introducing Dilip sir. Before that, so let me quote, great leaders understand that having a more diverse network is a source of pattern identification at greater levels and also of solutions, because you have people that are thinking differently than you are. So Dilip sir holds a master degree from the Indian Institute of Technology, Chennai, India. He started his career in India with Crompton Greaves Limited in the year 1995. He joined GE Power Controls as a program manager, and he was promoted to Technology Site Leader UK in 2001, and post this assignment he relocated to India to lead the power controls technology team. In 2004, Dilip sir was entrusted with the responsibility of Asia Industry Technology Leader, and he led his team in critical program executions based out of Shanghai. From 2007 to 2013, Sir held the role of NPI Leader for Industrial Solutions, leading new product introduction for industrial solutions business globally, operating from Plainwell City, USA. And Sir was a business leader for business leader for India Industrial Solutions business from 2013 to May 2014, operating from Bangalore, India, and the India Engineering Leader for Energy Management and Site Leader at HTC Hyderabad from June 2014 to July 2016. Currently is the Chief Technology Officer, India at the John F. Welch Technology Center. Over to Sir for the next talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Satish. Dr. Mallikarjuna, I think you covered so beautifully about how students should ready themselves for the future. And I liked what Professor Satish talked about, using a certain lens to look at the problem, and everything changes if you use the right lens. I think before I start, I want to congratulate all the students who have been shortlisted for this hackathon. It's a great recognition for your talent. You were able to really take a chance. You were able to take a risk in proposing a solution, because many times we see people find it difficult to talk, even though they know the solution. They don't want to talk about it because they always fear that someone will ridicule them for talking about things which may be unique, which may be different. So, big congratulations to all of you. And you all are really moving towards the next phase in your career once you complete your role here in the colleges and you're going to move into industry. I think when you move into industry, it's going to be a very different ball game. And Dr. Mallikarjun has talked about how you need to prepare yourself. So what I want to talk a little bit about, what is this industry all about and where we are today, what's happening in the industry, what's changing in the playground, and what are the new rules that are coming in. And as a young engineer, when you enter the industry, what you need to look at. Okay, briefly, I think one thing that you must have seen my career, I have spent about 25 years in GE. And this is my 25th year. And in 25 years, I have held many roles. So without changing the company, I have changed so many jobs, and every job gives you a different opportunity to learn things. One of the purpose of changing a job is to really get exposure, experience that gives you a different personality, right? And that exactly changes you into a different human being. You get better. Sometimes you get worse also if you get a wrong exposure, wrong experience, right? You need to be looking for a right kind of experience. So right now I'm working in GE Healthcare, and one of the purpose that we work with uh, is improving lives in moments that matter. It's a very powerful statement. Improving lives in moments that matter is a thing that actually motivates us. We are in healthcare industry. Today, every one of you know what's happening in the world. And the COVID situation has changed the entire world to absolutely a different way. Everything has come to standstill. People have learned to work in different ways. Technology has transformed itself in last few months, 3 or 4 months. The transformation in the digital world had changed so fast. Last 3 years, people were struggling to move digital. And in 3 months, 4 months, things have moved drastically. So, extraneous situations can change things drastically. What you never expected had changed everything. None of our people knew how to work remotely. I used to have a situation where people would say, I need to have everyone sitting next to each other. Today, people have learned to work from homes, but still deliver. So we understand the changing situation and we also change accordingly, right? So that's why it is very important for all of you to know how do you need to change. Just to talk a little bit about GE and GE Technology Center in Bangalore. This is one of the unique technology centers which was started back in 2001. We are nearly 5,000 plus technologists working out of our Bangalore center, which has every possible technology you can think about: aviation, healthcare, oil and gas, power, global research, renewables, every kind of technology. We have technologists varying from software to AI to cybersecurity to hardware. And you have one of the best brilliant laboratories that are available in the center in Whitefield. And if you want to really look at which is the most highly dense population of best technologists in the world, probably Bangalore in Jackwell Center you will find them, some of the best technologists. And coming to GE itself, in India, many of you may not be knowing, those of you who are from Bangalore, you must be knowing there's a place called Shimsha near Bangalore, near Mysore, where there's a power plant, hydroelectric power plant. That was the first one that was introduced by GE in 1902 was first time GE really came into India and installed that hydroelectric turbine, and that turbine is still functional. And post that, when GE came into India again was 1969, when nuclear plant in Mumbai Tata Bhabha Atomic Energy. We helped there. And 1989 is when GE Care started operations in India with partnership with Wipro. And today we are one of the largest companies in India who are actually in every field that you can think about. I think healthcare, like I said, is one of the most interesting fields today. Many of you may not be thinking about it, but healthcare actually brings in opportunity for people to work in some of the best futuristic technologies. We are a device company. We make devices such as MRI, CT, X-ray, ultrasound. People may think that, oh, these are all only hardware, probably there is only opportunity for people to work in hardware technology. But you will be surprised to know that today in our center in healthcare, we have more than 2,000 people working. And of that, nearly 75% are technologists working in software and AI field. Because we need a lot of artificial intelligence to come into these devices so that in future we will be treat diseases. Imagine today it's just about 3-4 months was trying to design a ventilator and develop a ventilator and make it available to everyone. Not just that, today we need to also understand how quickly, if someone is infected with COVID. And these are all the new technologies that are coming in. And healthcare is one area where these can make a difference. And those of you, if you get an opportunity to work in healthcare industry, you should feel yourself very lucky because you work with the purpose of improving somebody's life when it matters. Because today in the world, 1 in 3 people are in their lifetime diagnosed with cancer. 500 million plus people are suffering from respiratory diseases. 400 million people worldwide have diabetes. And more than 1 billion people have hypertension. And to top it, you have 5.8 billion people who do not have access affordability and accuracy. Huge challenge. As you can see what is happening in the world, going further, every government is going to put a lot more focus on healthcare. That's going to change the world. That's going to really give opportunity for some of the smartest minds to come and deliver some great solutions. What I get excited about talking to all of you is that you all come with absolutely no bias, no understanding of what works, what does not work. That is a great strength. With that bias, with that no bias, you will be able to come with some innovations which can be world changing. And I'm really excited, why we wanted to really sponsor the problem is to look at picking the brains of the people who are having zero bias. And so you can really think about developing solutions which are unique. Don't ask anyone if someone says that, hey, this may not work. Don't listen to them. Just go try it. Worst thing it can fail, right? And the world, I'm a very big fan of one statement that is said, there's a bad news in the world. There has been alarming increase in number of things that you know nothing about. Every minute there is addition to things that you don't know nothing about. Because the number of inventions that are happening and possibility of someone else beating that with a newer invention is so fast. Even if you keep reading every minute, you are still going to miss a lot of things. So the bad news is you don't know everything that is happening. And it is also very difficult to predict what might happen in the future. Or rather, I would say, it is easy to predict what might happen in the future. You all have seen movies, right? In the movies, even in the movies, we call it as Purana, right? Used to have the television, used to be some kind of a view. People had predicted those things will happen and it happened. We always predict that there will be video phones, and today everyone talks on video. But did we predict that it will happen so quickly? Probably not. And we all have seen this transformation happen very quickly, and computational power is increasing so fast. It is becoming hard to predict when the future might change, right? The future will never be incremental. It's going to be hugely big step. It's not going to be small changes. It's going to be a huge change. As all of you know, we are in the fourth industrial revolution, right? Many of you may not remember the first industrial revolution happened when the steam power came into picture, right? That changed everything. Then the second revolution came when the mass production assembly line started and the factories started springing up everywhere and industrialization happened. Products started getting produced at a very, very high speed. That was in 1970s. The first industrial revolution happened in 1784. The third one happened when electronics and computers came in, right? 1969. Things changed drastically. Now today is the fourth industrial revolution where we are talking about Internet of Things, connected networks, right? We are going to see interconnected. Just to give you an example, in healthcare itself, from G alone, we have millions and millions of devices which are outside available with customers. And think of interconnected devices which can give you possibilities which you can never think about. You know, government is talking about putting up a new digital health stack policy, right? It's going to really bring in all the devices, all the customer data, all the patient data together, which can be combined to create a vertical data about patient and a horizontal data about disease. And you can slice and dice the data to create so much of analytics and so much of intelligence can be brought in, right? So it's an amazing possibility that is coming in healthcare. Four profound things that are changing. There's a huge global resource constraint in every field. The resources are not there. You know, if you consider the skilled resources, when I say resources, I don't mean to say the resources who are available abundantly in terms of labor. I'm talking about skilled resources. That's why I think for you to really look at how you are really elevating yourself as an engineer, being a skilled engineer makes a huge difference. You become a skilled one. Global resource constraint is driving the technology. In healthcare, one of the things that is actually driving is we achieved so much of greatness by increasing the level of, what you call longevity for people. People live longer today, but it also brings in a problem. If people live longer, in fact, many of the families are having emptiness because their students or children are staying abroad or different states and parents are staying alone. So home care is becoming a need because of the health issues. And consumer understanding and engagement with the technology is increasing hugely, and digitization. These are big changes that are actually changing the way the technology needs to be developed, the way the products need to be developed. Technologies, these are that I want all of you to be thinking about. Dr. Mallikarjun also said that your learning should never stop. In fact, and also he mentioned about self-learning needs to continue. In fact, your self-learning needs to be every time. But in fact, when it becomes more important is the moment you start really getting on your own, getting into industry, self-learning becomes a lot more important. And a few areas for all of you who are in your third or fourth year engineering or whatever year you are in, note down these technologies. These are going to change in a big way. Digitization or digital technology. It's going to be huge in terms of the impact that will create into everything, whether you talk about autonomous car to autonomous, scanning machine or autonomous devices at home. You have so much happening there. cognitive computing. That's going to be a huge one. Beyond AI, cognitive computing is going to be a big one. Genomics construct. If you know your construct, if you know your atomic structure or a genomic structure for that matter, it's going to change everything. And security of your own technologies, cyber security, is going to be playing a huge role. Whether you know or not, every minute there are numerous cyber attacks that are happening in the world. About 2 years back, there was an attack that happened called WannaCry. When that hit, many of the hospitals were held ransom. In UK, all the hospitals were held ransom, and they had to pay and get themselves released. Imagine someone is doing a surgery, and you hold that machine which is used for anesthesia. Someone holds it for ransom and stops it. You have to pay and you have to save the man, right? So how do you really keep yourself safe is very important. 3D printing or additive technology is going to be changing the world. How do you print body parts? How do you parts which are going to make it easier for manufacturing? How do you print parts which are going to be easy to supply? Nanotechnology and robotics are going to play a huge role. You may come from engineering field of mechanical, electrical, electronics or whatever, but you need to keep continuing to develop yourself. I will just say one thing, these are going to be the leadership lessons that I want you to always remember. One, know yourself. Self-awareness is the bare minimum need for you to know where your strength lies. That will take you a long distance. If you know your strength, if you know your weaknesses, you need to know both. And you need to keep improving your needs where you need to develop yourself. Think big. Never, be afraid to think big. Because look, many a times you tend to think that I need to really think only smaller steps. You need to make movements in small steps, but think big. Think about, how can I be better? How can I reach the big stage? If I need to reach big stage, okay, think of this as I was one time riding a bicycle on uphill. I was in Hyderabad at that time. There is a road called ISB road, and there's a very, very steep uphill. And I looked at the uphill and had already cycled about 25 kilometer, and that was about 1.5 kilometer up. And I was not sure, would I really go up? Then I made myself one clear decision for myself. I said, I'm not going to look at the top thing. I need to go there, but I'll take it as one pedal at a time. And I didn't look up. I was only looking down near the pedal, and I was pedaling one pedal, one pedal, one pedal. And before I knew, I was up. If you look at it, big hill you have to climb, it becomes very difficult. But take one step at a time, and that makes it very easy. There's no such thing as a big risk. I think this is something that I want all of you to think about it. Never be afraid of taking risk in your life, in your work. The biggest thing that you can do justice to your own capability and capacity. If you take risk, worst thing, you fail. The best thing, when you pass that risk, you will go big step. In fact, we have award for people who take risks, who fail. We call it as DARE award. It's very important. Never be afraid to take a dirtiest job, because that's where you learn the maximum. Relationships are the key. Always build relationship with your colleagues, peers, leadership, below. It's a moving target in your life. Never be afraid of changing, what you are here today. You may think that reaching the level of the head of the institution may be too far off. But, the moment you take one step, that is one step nearer. So it's a moving target. Keep changing your goals. You may think today is not possible, but tomorrow it will be possible. Follow your passion. understand, I said, know yourself and follow your passion. What is your best capacity? Learn that passion, have a passion, and that will make you win. Trusting yourself makes you win. It's something that actually I have seen in my own career. Uh, Taking risks has helped me. Trusting myself has helped me, and building relationship has helped me. And know your customer. Customer does not mean the one who buys the product. Customer may mean also the people who benefit from your work. How do you make it get better for them? You need to know the end customer as well. Keep asking questions. Asking questions is one big thing I always feel. As Indians, we always are afraid to ask questions because of someone ridiculing us. This is one thing I always urge you to ask questions. If I learned something through all my experience abroad, was people there are very, very comfortable in saying that I don't know, and people are comfortable in asking questions. And whenever they want to ask questions, sometimes, if you want to make yourself feel comfortable, then you can say maybe a stupid question, but however, I want to ask a question. Ask questions. Okay. Strive for greatness and be humble. Have your feet on the ground. Strive for success. Greatness. And end of the day, your success comes when you have a purpose. If you don't have a purpose, you don't know why you are working, what you are working on. So have that purpose. For me, working in healthcare, the purpose of improving lives in moments that matter is something that drives me. Have your own purpose. You need not have the same purpose. Have some purpose that actually drives greatness for you. So all the best to you. And I definitely want to see, I would love to really connect with you personally, physically, but COVID has really put a stop to this. But I definitely hope to see some of you in healthcare industry and be great in your own lifetime. All the best to you. Thanks for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Mallikarjun. Thank you, Satish.
Yeah, thank you, Dilip sir.
Thank you, Dilip. Thank you,
It was
Dilip.
really a wonderful, yeah. Yes, sir. Mallikarjun sir. Yeah. Yeah, it was really a wonderful experience with both the leaders, one from academia and one from industry. That too in the evening of Sunday, we really heard you, and excellent, sir. Thanks a lot. And these are two live sessions which went superb. And with this, we come to the end of the live session, but we are continuing with the leadership talks, and we are going to have the leadership talks which are recorded, and we have three more leadership talks, one from Oracle, Deepak Rao, and another two. One more is from our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shankpal, and the third one is our alumnus, and he was into Hackathon for a long time, and he is in the industry now. So we are going to have all these three sessions now. Thank you, sir. Thank you, both of you. I move on to the next sessions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye, sir. So now we have a talk from Deepak Rao, is the Director, Global Expertise Center, Oracle India Private Limited. To start with, another quote: if we take us out of organization, if we can make it safe to ask for help, if we can protect givers from burnout and make it okay for them to be ambitious in pursuing their own goals as well as trying to help other people, we can actually change the way that people define success. Instead of saying it's all about winning a competition, people will realize success is really more about contribution. With this quote, I like to introduce the next speaker of today's leadership talk series, Deepak Rao from Oracle India Private Limited, Director, Global Expertise Center. The biodata of Deepak Rao is he was born and brought up in Bangalore, and he did his BE and ME in UVC Bangalore. After that, he worked in IIC Aerospace Department for a year before departing to the US. He joined Oracle in the US and have been in the same company since then. After 15 years in the US, he came back to India in 2010 and continued in Oracle India. Currently, he manages the delivery of Oracle's cloud services for big US customers, and this services includes Oracle solutions like Exadata, ExaCC, and ExaCS. And Dilip's hobbies are running, listening to music, and astronomy. So here we move on to Sir's recorded leadership talk. So let's go listen to him.
Sir, please share the screen, sir.
I'm doing.
Hello students, hope you are having a great hackathon. My name is Deepak Rao and I work in Oracle. I am responsible for the support of customers using Oracle Cloud technologies. The novel coronavirus pandemic is shutting the lights off for the global economy. The health crisis has morphed into an economic catastrophe for the entire world. COVID-19 is likely to have serious and long-term economic consequences around the globe. While most economies are in a state of shock, the impact of this crisis could be more severe than the 2008 global financial crisis or the Great Depression in the early 20th century. I'm sure all of you have read about how this presents a unique opportunity for India. The opportunities I feel will be especially high in the cloud computing world. All of you will be sucked into the cloud computing world in one way or the other in the next few years. So I thought it's a good idea for all of you to understand the current advantages and trends in this area so that you are better equipped when you come to face with this technology. The rise of the cloud over the past few years has transformed business technology. From managing application development to tech infrastructure to remote work and beyond, cloud computing has become integral to day-to-day business operations. As the cloud continues to grow, it will also continue to shape the world of business in the new and exciting ways. Today, organizations across the globe are inclining towards the cloud technology and cloud platforms for enhanced data management and security, cost-efficient services, ability to access distributed computing and storage facilities from anywhere, anytime. With the current crisis in place, cloud computing technology will enhance access to data services and improve the connectivity between people and businesses on a global scale. Numerous companies, financial establishments, educational institutions, and global enterprises will be able to operate and provide support to their customers and users on a variety of mobile devices. And this will subsequently impact market growth. Now let's look at some of the cloud computing trends. The first trend is serverless everything. Serverless computing went from a good idea to a fantastic idea now. No need to size servers and place them online, and the same with storage as well. Most public cloud providers can now offer serverless computing for containers, databases, and artificial intelligence. The benefit is a post-pandemic world is speed to deployment and speed to change, which means that you can create an architecture that's designed for change. The next trend is federated security. Typically, identity access management is the best way to approach cloud computing security given the distributed nature of cloud resources and applications. Centralized security management of distributed resources is an emerging concept whose time has come. Federated security covers all compute and storage resources as well as devices and humans. This approach takes change in stride, no matter how much is needed to adapt to a new market opportunity or global crisis. This will be a better way to go moving forward. The next one is distributed containers. You have heard of containers and clustered containers using container or orchestration technology such as Kubernetes. What's a distributed container? It's the federation of containers that either run standalone or in clusters, with the capability of running these anywhere in the cloud or not. Again, we are looking for flexibility to keep us out of future trouble. The quicker you can move processing around, say from cloud to cloud or data center to cloud, the more options you have during a crisis. Let's look at the cloud computing market outlook. According to a survey, the global cloud computing market was valued at USD 266 billion in 2019 and is expected to expand at 15% every year from 2020 to 2027. Factors such as growing digital transformation among industries, rising penetration of internet and mobile devices across the world, and an increase in the consumption of big data are the primary drivers fostering the market growth. The development of next generation industrial solutions will be cloud enhanced and require a cloud platform to showcase their digital business capabilities. The rise in adoption of Internet of Things, IoT, edge computing, 5G, use of real-time analytics enabled by artificial intelligence and machine learning is likely to boost the value of computing technology among organizations. An essential aspect of the market is the growing adoption of large enterprises as well as small and medium enterprises. With the increasing demand for on-demand and need-based services, cloud computing has helped SMEs to compete in a much larger business space. Moreover, the pay-per-subscription-based model offered by service providers has provided SMEs with the flexibility to grow to their full potential. Despite some market barriers, such as security concerns and legacy systems, the market is anticipated to maintain a high growth pace in the coming years. I would like to end by giving a few tips on how best to position yourself to take advantage of this cloud opportunity. Due to the current pandemic, there is a need for a new kind of thinking that I would call street smart thinking. It's like the Indian cricket team. Let's suppose they were about to play a test match with England, but suddenly there's a change and now they need to play an entirely new team that has come from the US. Our team has been practicing and strategizing to deal with England, but now all that has gone into the dustbin. They have to think on their feet, literally, and go back to their basics to deal with this situation. So, in a similar way, in the post-pandemic world, the skills required will be your ability to use the basics you learned and use that in new and innovative ways. Companies began to come together to work openly in an unprecedented level, putting the ability to create value before the opportunity to make a buck. Collaboration can produce huge benefits for companies, even though it's often overlooked in normal circumstances. Companies are teaching executives and students how to innovate in a more distributed, decentralized, and participatory way. The classroom response is usually, my company needs more of this, but despite the enthusiasm, companies rarely follow through. We have seen how companies have used hackathons, like the ones you guys are working on right now, and other forms of open innovation to generate heaps of creative ideas. But these ideas will not always reach the point of implementation, leading to frustration among employees and partners. At many companies, this kind of distributed, decentralized, and participatory way of innovation remains an ambition that is seen as the way of the future. As students, you should see this as a call to get back to the roots. Just like you see people appreciating more the ancient Indian wisdom in the food we eat or the practices we follow, which have come to the fore now due to the corona crisis. It's also a great opportunity to put India at the top of the world economy. This is the right time to spread the technology to rural India. Cloud computing does not care where the data centers exist and subsequently is ideal in the remote work environment. Understand that it is much more difficult because to get talent in rural India and to train people takes a lot more effort. But if we do this now, it will be far more resilient. This is the labor force we can mobilize China style to become the monopoly in the technology services space, just like China did in the manufacturing space. There are also a ton of opportunities in the healthcare industry. Digital healthcare can take these services to the rural masses. Specialists from anywhere in the world can diagnose and treat patients in the remotest village. Cloud technology will make sure that this happens in a seamless and efficient manner. Similarly, there's a huge potential in the telecom area. It's an opportunity for India to make a big telecom leap as the country is on the hockey stick curve on usage of data, which should ensure a boost to business communication, data analytics that meet stringent security requirements. Cloud computing is the perfect technology to bring in the operational efficiency and automation. It's like another industrial revolution. For the use of cloud computing will open new avenues for better utilization of human resources. Lastly, the biggest impact, and I'm sure you have seen this, is having in the educational field. It has enabled radical changes in the way we learn. You can now pick up the program of your dreams in traditional education, but that would involve traveling away from home, living in a completely unknown city, and struggling in an extremely competitive environment. You don't have to do any of that now. With online education, you can take any program or course present in traditional four-year universities. You have access to the best teachers from the comfort of home. You can now collaborate with an international audience with ease, enhancing your global skills and knowledge. Eventually, this will make it irrelevant whether you get a degree in India or in the US. Cloud computing will ensure a level playing field to the entire world, meaning an SME in a remote village in India will be paid the same as someone in the city. This will have a major impact on the rapid increase in the Indian workforce of the future in the technology world. This brings me to the end of this talk. I hope I was able to give a brief understanding of the current trends in the cloud computing world. I wish you all the very best of luck with the rest of the hackathon. Also, the very best wishes for all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Deepak Rao from Oracle. You had given an enlightenment on cloud computing. So now we move on to the next talk. So our next speaker is Dr. S.R. Shankpal sir. He is a Pro Vice Chancellor, REVA University. Before I introduce...
Sorry for the interruption. Can you please enable your camera, sir?
Yeah. Thank you, Palani. So before I introduce Dr. S.R. Shankpal sir, so let me quote, I came to believe that a leader is not good because they are right. They are good because they are willing to learn and to trust. Dr. S.R. Shankpal sir was born on 8/01/1960 is a mechanical engineering graduate from University of Mysore, studied at MCA Asan during 1977 to 1982. With a postgraduate degree from IIT Madras in the year 1984 and PhD degree from BITS Pilani in the year 1998. He was the first Vice Chancellor of MS Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences, established in the year 2013 till May 2018, and is the President of MS Ramaiah School of Advanced Studies for 14 years and ran more than 20 postgraduate programs in collaboration with Coventry University, UK. He also worked as a Pro Vice Chancellor at the PES University, Dayanand Sagar University, and Dean of IQAC at REVA University for small stints. Dr. Shankpal Sir started his career as a lecturer in the year 1984 at MS Ramaiah Institute of Technology, Bangalore. His subject areas of interest are control system engineering, vehicle dynamics, automotive powertrain, and energy conversion. He was awarded research grants of more than rupees 100 million from Indian government departments, industries, UK IERI and EU since 2001. He was awarded incubation grant of rupees 525 lakhs by the Department of IT, BT and ST of Karnataka. He has guided 5 scholars for PhD and more than 50 graduate theses and around 60 undergraduate projects. He has published more than 85 research papers, more than 50 blog posts, 9 textbooks in engineering. He created video lectures for 5 courses, delivered more than 45 invited lectures across the world and more than 100 training programs for practicing engineers of many Tier 1 industries. He has been a very popular consulting engineer for companies involved in CAD/CAM CAE services. His team consulted more than 500 major CAD/CAE projects for various companies and research organizations during the last 20 years, and out of which around 100 cars project for DRDO. He is a proponent of outcome-based professional education. He was a merit scholarship holder throughout his student career, won ISTE Student Project Awards and Team Tech Award for Professional Excellence and MAV 07 Award and many more. He is a member of SAE, CI, ISTE and widely travelled to UK, Germany, France, Italy, Czech Republic, Belgium, Bulgaria, US, Russia, Nigeria, Ghana, China, Malaysia, Singapore, Sri Lanka and UAE, visiting and interacting with more than 30 global universities. Thank you, sir. So moving on to Sir's talk. So let us listen to his recorded leadership talk today. Thank you. Moving on to Dr. Shankpal sir.
Sir, please share your screens once again. Sir, share your screen, sir. Share your screen, sir.
Sorry. So we'll do the correction.
Satish Amaraju, Chancellor, REVA University. Dr. K.M. Babu, Vice Chancellor, REVA University. Dr. Dhanamjaya, Registrar, REVA University. Dr. Sunil Kumar Manvi, Director, School of Computing and Information Technology. Dr. Gubbi Satish, who is the coordinator of SIH 2020 Software Edition, and my dear participants. Good evening to you and greetings from REVA University. My name is Dr. S.R. Shankapal. I am the Pro Vice Chancellor at REVA University. I have more than 35 years of experience in teaching, research, and administration. In the last 20 years, I have taken up many leadership roles. So I was director, I was president, I was vice chancellor, I was pro vice chancellor at various universities. That way I have gained a lot of experience in educational institutions. So Dr. Satish Gubbi contacted me and asked me to share a few of my leadership experiences with you all. So I agreed for that, and I would like to share some of my experiences. This presentation is not going to be a kind of a lecture type. It is basically a few questions. Normally people ask for a leader. So those questions I have jotted down, and for those questions I have provided my answers based on my experience. Probably this is going to help you a lot. Probably I'm not completely opening it out and completely sharing all the ideas. The reason is paucity of time. So first question comes, what is leadership? So leadership is influence, influencing people. So convincing people to work for a cause is what leadership is all about. Mahatma Gandhi was a great leader. So he had a cause, he had a vision, right? He influenced people for the cause of Indian independence. Similarly, Martin Luther King, he influenced people for the cause of racial equality. So similar kind was, leadership was given by Abraham Lincoln as well as Nelson Mandela for similar kind of causes. Mother Teresa worked for the poorest of the poor. That was her mission. Churchill is best remembered for successfully leading Britain through World War II. These are all transformational leaders. For the well-being of their communities, they had a cause, they set a vision, and they worked for it. Here we have Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Sundar Pichai, Mark Zuckerberg, Satya Nadella. These are great technology leaders. They are leading lights. Probably they are the role models for your generation. These are some business leaders of our country who created a lot of wealth and jobs in the last 20 years in our country. Einstein is a thought leader. Swami Vivekananda is a role model for the youth. All these people have one thing common, that it is vision. Because want to do something for the upliftment or well-being of the people. So they will have followership and they will be able to influence these followers to work for the cause. This is what leadership is. 20 years ago, when I was given a responsibility, I had a vision of building a premier university in the country because education is central to the development or growth, economic growth of a country. Only the educated youth can be more innovative and creative, and they can create wealth for the benefit of the people. So central to this is the university education. So who is a leader then? Leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Just recall the Indian independence movement. Gandhi led freedom struggle. Somehow he knew the way how to work for the Indian independence. He sacrificed, he worked hard, he dedicated himself. Correct. He influenced people and he made these people, he convinced the people to work for the Indian independence. So he is the leader. So get into an unknown area, just start exploring and to reach some kind of a lakshya, a goal point, and they do it for upliftment or well-being of the people. Such a person is a leader, an academic leader. Is basically, continuously, the change is something like constant and continuous. The industry, the businesses are dynamically changing, the requirement for the human resources are changing. Somebody who continuously understands this dynamics, continuously plan, develop, deploy the curriculum and pedagogy and the human resources prepared to suit or meet the requirements of this kind of an industry. So when there is a change, there is going to be a lot of opposition and very difficult for people to convince, but it is the way you, as a leader, you have to influence those people, convince the people and make them very clear about the benefits of this kind of a thing and finally work for that will benefit the student community. That means the human resources of the country and that in turn the wealth creation in the country. That is the leader. As I mentioned, a leader's job is something continuously prepare organizations for change. And as I mentioned, as Gandhiji also has mentioned, constant change is something constant. At present, so many, everywhere disruption is happening. So even educational institutions are disrupted under this COVID-19 situation. So that's the change is so rapid, it's so high. Now how to prepare the organizations or the universities for this change? There are a lot of people involved here, the students, the parents, the teachers, so many. So there is change. But how to make them, convince them to cope with the change? How to set the directions, how to align everybody, how to continuously motivate them to get into this. That is what leaders do. That is what the educational leaders, many successful educational leaders also do. So, why you want to become a leader? Why you want to be a leader when there are so many challenges? I have a vision. I have a purpose. I have a passion. I can influence people. I want to build the best university in the country. I want to provide the best education. I want to make my graduates so innovative, so creative, and they should generate jobs for others. They should be able to establish companies. They should be able to create a lot of wealth, and my country will progress. And my country will become a developed country. So I have a vision to build a university. I have a purpose in well-being of the people, and I have a passion for educating people. So I can definitely able to convince people. I'll be able to influence people. So I want to become a leader because I see my purpose of my birth or purpose, my existence is going to be sought. I have that burning obsession, in desire I have. Are leaders born or they acquire leadership by time? Some people are fortunate. They take birth in such families where the ambience of the family, the environment around them, initially itself, it fills in so much of enthusiasm, confidence, interest in them. So confidence, interest in them. They start dreaming to become leaders. However, to become a leader, you need to develop a lot of leadership traits, leadership skills, leadership abilities. Okay, for that probably, definitely, you require professional training. The best trainers can hone your skills. So, advice is that you want to become really a great leader. Becoming today's conditions, a great leader is not an easy job. Probably a lot of professional training will definitely help you to shape yourself into a good leader. When exactly you are ready for leadership position? I don't think the moment you get into a job or get into something like that, you start becoming a leader. For example, when I just started my career, so somewhere in 1984, no, I started as a lecturer. I started learning. I started perfecting my, domain knowledge. I started gaining more and more knowledge. I started acquiring a lot of my cognitive abilities. Practical skills, I'll start developing myself. So then I started, my teachers started teaching well, started helping my students. I started helping their parents. I started helping my colleagues. Yes, I started helping my department. Yes. Then they start slowly, everybody started liking. They started really recognizing my, the discipline. So the way I used to take my responsibility, the way I used to execute my work, the meticulousness in my work, my professionalism, my ethics, yes. And how I used to resolve the conflicts of my staff, my colleagues, all these things, people started recognizing it and continuously learning newer ideas, newer technologies, adopting it, correct, for the benefits of my stakeholders. This is what exactly. So then somebody will start, recognizing all these things. Then probably that gives you a hint. Probably you can start your leadership, maybe level 1, level 2, and kind of things like that. Slowly gain the complete knowledge of the organization, probably reach to the topmost position. In an organization, people will be popular by making jokes and amusing people in so many ways. That is not leadership. That is just a popularity. Leadership is something very objective. So, which are all the human dimensions you must develop to be a good leader? Very lately I realized I was under the impression if I have some good intellectual abilities, that is sufficient that I will become a great leader. No. You have to have an all-round development, all-round abilities. So here I have indicated 7 dimensions of human development. Emotion. You become sad, you become mad, you are angry, you are sometimes polite, you are kind. Then you are something like, enigmatic, all kinds of things like that. So emotional control is very, very important. Yes, then the intellectual one. Most of the times our effort is developing intellectual ability. It is definitely very important to be a leader. Your intellectual abilities, your subject knowledge is very, very important. But that's not the only thing. Other things are also equally important. The physical wellness is very important. A good mind can only exist in a good body. Good body. That's very important. Your emotional control, your all these things, definitely intellectual learning, abilities, acquiring all these things. If your physical wellness is good, it's very important. Another very important thing is we need to invest a lot in the social wellness. The way you network, the way you connect with yourself, with your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousins, your relatives, your friends at all levels, your teachers is very, very important. So your community, the way you get connected with your community is very important. Many times you feel it is waste of time. No, it is necessary that we have to develop a good social wellness. Your awareness towards the environment, financial discipline in your life, and the spiritual wellness is another thing every one of us, the young age, we laugh at it. No, it is something beyond. It is where you can see the purpose of your life. It's spiritual part of it. So thus there are 7 dimensions as shown on this pie chart, the equal distribution for this. Remember, you try to enlarge one, others will become small. We become equal. Suggestion is that how do we manage the equal sector for all these 7 dimensions is the question. But please, I advise you, look into all this. So, as I already mentioned, how do you start developing leadership abilities? Maybe you have certain inclination towards becoming a leader. That's one part of it because of various influence of your surroundings, influence of your, so many factors. You have an inclination towards it. And you want to become a great leader. That's another very important thing. One of the most important thing is discipline. Time management. Okay, that's very, very important. Right, what you want to do, how you want to do, be clear and you have to meticulously follow it up. Solve more problems, more projects. Then you start developing your leadership abilities. Probably in a college, you organize a sport activity, you organize a debate activity, you organize some other kind of an activity, cultural activity. Yes, these are also some way you start learning leadership abilities. Learn to follow good leaders. Learn to listen to them. So be intelligent enough to understand the situation and act accordingly. And find a solution. What is the best solution for that situation? It's a very important thing. Correct? That presence of mind is a very important thing. You keep inspiring others. Keep learning. Learning is lifelong. Today, you win the competition, you get a degree, you get your certificate, you got your degree, fine, you got a job, fine, don't stop learning. So, gone are those days, once you got a degree that 40, 45 years you can run. Now, every 3 years there is going to be a change. You have to unlearn and relearn. That is what is important. Keep learning. Make learning as a habit. Learn to resolve conflicts. Good listener. Be democratic about your teammates. That's very important. All these things, better you start. If you are keeping an eye towards leadership, I think it is better you start right at the beginning looking at all those kind of things. You want to become a political leader, probably the investment to become a political leader is almost 10 to 15 years continuously you have to do. Right, you are born in a village, then you have to invest there. Then the village to a panchayat, panchayat to hobli, hobli to a talu. That's kind of a way you have to grow. It takes a lot of time. But you have to plan, like how exactly I need to work for this to become a leader. So, what are your good qualities you should have? You have to have a shared vision. You are one in something. Yes. It is not only yours. The win has not come only because of your vision, your work. So many people around you have helped, have put in their effort. Yes, share that joy. Share that credit with everybody. That is what is important. Lead the change. When, for example, the present situation itself, you see, COVID. I think a lot of things are happening in educational institutions. So we had a traditional way of teaching. Okay, students going to college, teaching on blackboard and kind of things like that. The sudden change is what the education has become online. So many practices that you have to adopt from the traditional to online. As a good leader, you have to lead this change. But people are reluctant. They have to learn new things. I need to inspire. I need to motivate those people. I want to train them, teach them, help them. This is very important thing. I need to help them. Must be honest. You have to be sacrificing time. You should be unselfish. Then only you can succeed as a good leader. Somebody is not able to do some things, you have to do it and show them. So you have to set an example. You have to be democratic. Everybody's opinion you have to respect. Listen to them. The good points you have to take. Credit them. Give the credit for that. This is what is important. You should be progressive, optimistic. That's very important. Over and above, you must be good in your subject area. You should have the real knowledge, the cognitive abilities, the practical abilities, the competencies required to solve a problem. Yes, these are very important. You are answerable to many people. Once you are a leader, suppose you are a university vice chancellor, you are answerable to students. You are answerable to their parents. You are answerable to their employers. You are answerable to alumni. You are answerable to your faculty. You are answerable to your management. So many people you are answerable. So you are an industry leader. The customers, employees, investors, the political leaders, the media, the contractors and some local authorities, community groups, environmental partners, your regulators, so many people you have to answer. You have to work with various types of people. Some are passive, some are passive aggressive, they are aggressive, they are assertive. What exactly they mean, I have written down over here. Some people are there to support you. Some people are there to pull your leg. Some people are there to create problems. Some people are there to misinterpret. Some people are there to sabotage. Yes, all types of people will be there. It's very difficult to identify what they are doing behind your back. but slowly you have to quickly understand what kind of people they are. You have to strategize and carefully handle them and see that they work towards your, goal, the vision. That's a very important thing. So you must really understand the human behavior, human psychology, very, very important for realizing your vision. How do you start handling criticism, failures, and success? Yes, once you are a leader, criticism is natural. Definitely, leadership is not a popularity contest. You require mental toughness. If you are not being criticized, means you are not leading. But if somebody is criticizing you, don't take them as enemy and find ways to penalize them, punish them. Don't do that. That is not the way. That is not leadership. Okay? You have to learn what is good in that criticism, what is bad in that criticism, and how you can make use of those kind of a thing. Yes, you err many times. You fail many times. Accept failure. Nothing will happen. And whatever has led to that failure, know that, understand that, use that as an experience for the next problem. So, let employees feel safe to fail. There should not be fear of failure. That's very important. Otherwise, nobody is going to innovate anything. If there is something wrong, apologize quickly, fix your failure, and you move on. Probably you must have heard about APJ Abdul Kalam's story. The India's first space flight was done. I think the rocket fell in Bay of Bengal. The way Satish Dhawan handled that failure. Again, the next, flight, they succeeded. The way Abdul Kalam handled it. All these stories you must have heard about it. Yes, there will be success, there will be failures. You have to be you should be ready to handle that. Is it necessary to have some mentors around you? Yes, as I said, Kalam had a mentor, Satish Dhawan. It is good to have, two is missing there, good to have some well-wishers around you who can understand you and your objectives and guide you at times of difficulties. Even Chandragupta Maurya was successful because of Chanakya. Shivaji was successful because of her mother and Dadaji Kondadeva, Jijabai and Dadaji Kondadeva. Like every king will have some kind of teacher. That is the way you should have somebody around you who can understand you and your objectives and guide your times of difficulties. For your success, be clear in your vision. What's your vision? How to realize this vision? What kind of people are required? What kind of resources are required? Correct. How to put them together? How to, lead them is very important. Decisiveness. Don't harp around while taking a decision. Right decision, right. That's fine. That's all the thing. Don't go on postponing. You should have courage to face difficulties, challenges, and other things. You must have continuously. That burning passion should be there overall, and humility is very important. These are the characteristics you have. You fail many times. Sometimes a few successes will go to your head. Then we become arrogant. Correct? This is becoming we become too reactive. Right? We refuse to adapt and we start whatever we have done is the best and kind of things like that. Is that okay? We become leery, something like arrogant. So we stop communicate and we start failing. So there will be politics, but you should know how to handle that politics. That's a very important thing. You should make careful, strategize things and carefully handle this politics. Otherwise you fail. So all these challenges, difficulties are there. Then still why we have to take up leadership? Because you will get recognition, respect, your status, your money. Many times you have a question, what's the purpose? Why did I, what I should be doing in my life? Yes, you are achieving that. That is why you have to, yes, experience all those things, face all those things. Right. Many times you are all alone in crisis. Okay. And life balancing, work-life balance becomes quite challenging. At times you get exhausted. But nevertheless, if your actions can inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering. I think the Gandhiji was a great leader and is remembered forever. So, you are young, you are intelligent, that's why you are now in this competition, you are hardworking, you are sharp, everything is fine. Plan well and try to become a great leader. Create more and more wealth for this country. And like Abdul Kalam said, India should become a developed country. Make India a developed country. Thank you very much.
Satish sir,
Yes, thank you, Professor. Thank you, Shankpal sir. It was a wonderful experience of your leadership talk. It was really excellent to hear for the last 20 to 25 minutes. It was really wonderful for all of us, all the students. Now we move on to the last talk of this today's series by our own alumnus currently who is now working in an industry. I like to introduce him, and also he has shared his recorded video. So we will listen to his recorded talk. Before we move on to him, let us have a quote. Connection is why we are here. It's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. This is what it's all about. The ability to feel connected is neurobiologically, that's how we are wired. It's why we are here. So with this quote, let me introduce my student Akash James. And we have taught him for 4 years, and we also mentored him for his project. And after all that, from last 4-5 years, he is helping us out in conducting various sessions, and he was the winner of 2 to 3 hackathons, and he has participated in dozens of hackathons. He has won accolades in India, and currently he is working in artificial intelligence architect at Integration Wizards. Is mainly responsible for orchestrating and developing IW's flagship product, Iris Computer Vision. Is an alumnus of REVA ITM, deep learning and IoT enthusiast with a knack for hackathons. He has won NASA's Space Apps Challenge in 2019. Is a top performer at AWS Deep Learning Hackathon at IIT Madras. He was the finalist at Rajasthan IT Day Hackathon 5.0, and he has won all hackathons hosted at REVA during his tenure between 2014 and 18. So he has been awarded as a brand ambassador of REVA 2018 and best cultural performer of 2018. Is a blend of technical and cultural skills. So let us move on to Mr. Akash and listen to him.
A very good evening to everyone. It's great to see so many of you taking part in one of India's best hackathons. Let me start off with a quote by Albert Einstein. Try not to become a man of success, rather become a man of value. It's great to see all of you taking part in this hackathon and putting yourself out of your comfort zones and trying to give your best. Technology is an ever-growing domain with new research and strategies coming up at every second. And let me tell you, you are at the forefront of that. Being in college and working on technology stacks like data science, machine and deep learning, the Internet of Things, and blockchain is an achievement in itself. There is no set recipe to achieve what you want, but I can shed light on a couple of things that have worked out for me at least. Don't focus on winning, always focus on doing better than what you already can. A lot of people actually focus and set their goals on winning something. But for me, it has always been about improving yourself. Your true competition is yourself. I have this paradoxical theory where if you assume that you're good today and you're going to get better tomorrow, you can set your goal for today to be better than what you will be tomorrow. There, you end up with a cycle where you constantly just keep improving exponentially. If you focus on doing better than what you can, you're going to enhance your skill set and make a greater difference. Don't base your solutions around the tools you know. You might be really good at deep learning, or you might be really good at making applications on Android or iOS. A lot of people actually base their solutions around the tools they know. They try to drill a screw with a hammer. And that, to me, is wrong, especially in an environment like a hackathon. Hackathons are all about learning different technology stacks and learning them really quickly and coming up with a feasible solution. When you're coming up with a solution, don't focus it being around the tools you know. You might need to learn new technologies. And what I'm asking you is not to be afraid to do that. Your expertise may not lie in that, but I'm sure and I trust that you can definitely learn something new. Harnessing confidence. A lot of people have self-doubt that they cannot achieve anything or they may not be able to complete what they initially started. A vital part of gaining something or achieving something is all about being confident in what you do. When you make a decision, when you set a goal, you need to be confident that you're going to achieve it. Don't give up easily. A lot of people put in really a lot of hard work and they finish like 80% of the solution, but going from 80 to 100 is where your final hurdle lies. And a lot of people give up at that moment. I mean, that's the part where the human tendency of letting go and staying inside your comfort zone kicks in. And that's something you need to get rid of. It's just that one thing that can stop you from achieving what you want. So whenever you feel low and you feel like you need to give up, always remember why you started off what you did. And that will definitely help you gain what you want. Don't get intimidated by a competition. There might be another team, there might be another set of people who are really good at what they do, but that doesn't mean you need to get intimidated. Just like one of the earlier points that I mentioned, it's you who is your goal. You need to become better than what you already were. It's not someone else that you need to defeat. You need to improve on yourself. And when you get rid of everything else and just focus on yourself, that's when you can actually shine. Finally, trust your team. Hackathons are all about teamwork, at least in most cases. And with SIH, all of you are working in teams. There's this common saying, right? Teamwork makes the dream work. So when you're working in a team, you need to divide your tasks and trust in each other that you will finish it. When you trust your team and when you trust in yourself, that's when you can really come up with really, really good solutions. The trust factor is something that really crumbles up a team at most points, based on my experience with judging hackathons. And the teams that really shine have really, really good teamwork. So no matter what the task is, always trust in your teammate that they will be able to finish it, and always help out each other. So what are the different things that you need to consider while taking part in a hackathon? So the first one is literature review. So a lot of people come up with really good solutions that are technologically enhanced, but the literature review is lacking. So before you come up with a solution to a problem statement, you also need to, search if there are other solutions that are similar to you and what kind of an impact is your solution bringing to the world. Let me take an example of home automation. So we do have existing solutions like Google Assistant or Alexa that can, communicate with smart devices. But how is your solution, which is also a home automation solution, better than what's already available? So that's a question you need to ask yourself every time when you come up with a solution or when you make a decision based on the problem statement that you are going to take up. Hackathons are not just about the technology stack, they are also about how you're going to present your solution and what kind of an impact it makes. So doing a literature review really helps in situations like these. The next thing would be to step out of your comfort zone. I mean, hackathons are not meant to sleep. They're actually meant to spend most of your time coding and coming up with a solution. I've seen a lot of people, they get disheartened and just go to bed in the night. So, 8 hours of sleep is something you shouldn't be doing during a hackathon. It should be more of like 3 hours of sleep and 5 hours of code. You could sleep at some other time. You need to really, really understand the fact that you need to prioritize the hackathon, and it's something where you need to step out of your comfort zone. So that's another advice that I have. Another thing would be to focus on the right bits of your prototype. So your solution might require a login page, it might require an encrypted database, or you might be coming up with a neural network that needs to be really robust. But that's not the aim of a hackathon. Your solution needs to focus on the right functionality. If you're going to spend most of your time working on login pages, it's not going to bring much value to your solution compared to what probably working on another feature would bring. So that is one more thing that you need to keep in mind. Another thing would be to brainstorm with your team. You need to periodically assemble and discuss with your team about your progress and what's done, what are the hurdles, and how you would counter them. So probably discussing with the team every 4 hours or 8 hours would really make sense, where you need to reconvene and take a call on some of the decisions that you make. So these are things that usually people foresee and don't really do. So if you were to practice these points, it would really help you. And I wish luck to everyone, and I hope you do really well and have fun. And when it comes to fun, I mean, take periodic breaks as well. I mean, it wouldn't hurt it to play a little bit of Counter-Strike or PUBG. I mean, whatever is your game poison, it doesn't matter. You need to have fun as well. Hackathons are a fun experience. So have fun and do your best.
Thank you, Akash. It was really wonderful to hear to our own student. It was an extremely exciting session from you to all the aspiring young engineers who are working on today's Smart India Hackathon across India. So, thanking all the speakers, right from our Vice Chancellor, sir, Dilip, sir, then our Pro Vice Chancellor, sir, Deepak Rao, and Akash. So, this is the end of today's leadership talk. Thank you, one and all. Good night.
Thank you, Satish. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Signing off from REVA University Nodal Center.